Shalom, shalom, Israel. First and foremost, want to give all honor and glory to the Most High God, Yahweh. Ba'ashema Mashiach Manak Yahushua. Yahweh is the name of the Heavenly Father, who the world calls God. And Yahushua is the name of His only begotten Son, who the world only calls Jesus Christ. Right, first and foremost, want to give a strong shalom to all the mighty men. They're going out there, but they're laboring. Right, they're presenting their bodies as a living sacrifice. They're doing all they can to wake up the lost sheep of the house of Israel. Not only that, those men are enduring the elements, the 100-degree weathers, the freeze below codes, and everything that's trying to hinder the work of the Most High. Shalom, shalom. First, I want to give another strong shalom to all the mighty Aqua, right? The sisters that are in this truth, but they're reverencing their husbands. They're being teachers of good things, tender, delicate, and on fire for the Most High God. Right, and last but not least, want to give another strong shalom to all the mighty teenagers and children in this truth, doing all they can to make their calling and election sure through the Spirit. Right? So the topic of this cold cut is titled Endure, Endure, Endure. Right? The Most High put it on my spirit to do a quick, nothing major, right? Quick exhortation on endurance, man. On why endurance is key, why you have to endure, the importance of it, right? So again, the topic of this cold cut is endure, 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 right? And you have to endure, man. And it's going to be made manifest because anybody can endure, right? When you look up the definition of endure, right, or endurance, I believe it says suffering, right, or to suffer patiently, right? So anybody could suffer, all right? Anybody could go through things, hardships, and those things are going to come. That's what comes with this truth, right? That's a part of it, all right? Stop acting like, you know how Jake is, acting like stuff new, right? The brother, he been in the truth for 8 years. He acting like suffering or catching temptation is something new, man. This is not new, right? You have to, this is what comes with it. So you're going to have hardships. You're going to have obstacles, right? You're going to have trials. You're going to have things that's going to be blocking your way from going forward. And that could be anything, right? That could be friends. That could be your family, the people that you hang around, right? Video games, right? Sports. What else? It could be anything, man, right? Anything that's stopping you or something that you really like, all right, women, right? It's a lot of things that it could be. Nevertheless, that's what's gonna come, right? You're gonna have demons. They're gonna try to punch you in the chest, man, right? You know, when you were younger, you with your cousins, right? Y'all chastising each other, right? Body boxing, right? Jake know what I'm talking about. You body boxing, right? You're gonna have people, these demons, they're gonna try to punch you in your chest, right? And try to hurt you. But whatever that comes your way, you have to do something, and that's called endurance. So let me get this first quick precept in Sirach, chapter 2 and 1. Right? It's Sirach 2 and 1. My son, if thou come to serve the Lord, prepare thy soul for temptation. So that's automatic. All right, you want to serve the Lord, guess what? You got to prepare for temptation. All right? That just comes with serving the Lord. It is what it is. Right? That's not an in-depth breakdown. Right? We don't need 5 hours to break down Sirach 2 and 1. All right, or 2.5 hours going through a list of 20 plus precepts. The Lord said, if you come to serve me, prepare thyself for temptation. So although you're going to have rocks, right? You might be at your lowest, one of the lowest points of your so-called life. When you really might not be. It's just a lot of the things you just haven't experienced yet. That don't mean it's the lowest part of your life, man. That don't mean it's the end all be all. It's just something new, because you're going to have stuff in the future that might be 10 times harder than that. So with that being said, again, the topic of this cold cut is endure, 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 which means to suffer patiently, right? If you could suffer, and if you could do it, let's go to the book of 1 Peter. All right, let's go to 1 Peter chapter 4. All right, let's go to the book of 1 Peter chapter 4 and verse number, I'm gonna start at verse, this is a good chapter. I'm gonna start at verse 12. It says, Beloved, think it not strange concerning a fiery trial, which is to try you, as though some strange thing has happened unto you. So the Lord is saying, you're being tried, right? You're going through affliction, hardships. You have to endure certain things. Don't think it's strange. Verse 13, but rejoice inasmuch as ye are partakers of Christ's sufferings, that when his glory shall be revealed, he may be glad also with exceeding joy. So again, not only comes temptation with this truth, it comes suffering as well. Hey, the Lord, he suffered, man. Like I said, anybody could suffer. You might be suffering right now watching this video, man. Right? Somebody that's might watch this video 2 years from now might be suffering and they come across it. But it's how you handle that suffering, man. A lot of times, brothers, they start suffering, right? Or women, all right? They start complaining, right? They say, why me, right? Why the hell am I going through this? All right? A lot of people, they give up, man. They start suffering. They just give up. They stop doing everything, all right? They can't pay their bills anymore, so they just close their Bible. They stop reading. Other people, they stop studying, man. They stop praying. Then other people, they complaining, right? They crying, right? Hey, it depends how you suffer, man. Are you suffering the proper way? Hey, the Lord, he suffered. How did the Lord handle that suffering? Did the Lord complain? Right? Did Yahweh Shai give up when he was on the cross? Right? What about Job when he suffered? Now, Job, he was in the flesh, right? He had thoughts on his mind and things of that nature. But Job didn't give up, man. He patiently waited and endured that thing. Read it on. Verse 14. For if ye be reproached for the name of Christ, happy are ye. For the spirit of glory of God resteth upon you. On their part is evil spoken of, but on your part is he glorified. But let none of you suffer as a murderer, right? Because you could be suffering, but guess what? It's for your sins, all right? Or in a thief, or as a evildoer, or as a busybody in any other's matters. So you could be suffering, but you can't be suffering the right way. Again, the word endure means to suffer patiently. So you could be suffering, but as an evildoer, man. You could be suffering for the wrong reasons. You want to make sure you're suffering for the name of the Lord and that you suffer patiently. Let me bring this out of 1 Maccabees chapter 9. Right? Let's go to the book of 1 Maccabees chapter 9 and verse. See what I want. 1 Maccabees chapter 9 and verse number 13. It says they also of Judah's side, even they sounded their trumpets also, so that the earth shook at the noise of the armies, and the battle continued from morning till night. Going into Judas when he's going to war. Now when Judas perceived that Bacchides and the strength of his army were on the right side, he took with them all the hardy men. So Judas, when he was going to war, he took with him nothing but hardy men, man. You have to ask yourself, are you hardy through the spirit? Right? And if a brother could put that definition in the chat, that'd be very helpful, Lord willing. All right, but Judas, guess what? He took with him nothing but the hardy men. He didn't take weak men. What does the word hardy mean? Hardy, according to the definition, I believe it says, right? Gotta think. It says men or somebody that's capable of enduring harsh conditions. That's what it means by hardy. All right. Now, this happened Salakia. This happens with Judas Maccabee's men, man. Right? And his army. How much more for the Lord's army? All right? Our Lord and Savior, he has an army, man. That's let's go to that in 2 Timothy chapter 2. Right? If you're in this truth, guess what? You're a part of the Lord's army. And the Lord is not taking weak men that can't endure in his army. Right? That don't take stuff on the chin. A lot of men, you don't take stuff on the chin, man. All right? It's nothing wrong with feeling the way you feel about a certain situation or getting upset or sad, but it's how you deal with it, man. You can have those feelings, but still what? Take it on the chin. This 2 Timothy chapter 2 and verse number 3. Thou therefore endure hardness as a good soldier of Yahushua HaMashiach. So guess what? If you in this truth, the Lord said you're his soldier, man. What does a soldier do? They endure hardness. If you're in the Lord's army, you got to endure hardness. Because if you don't endure, you will die. We're not even going to sugarcoat it. If you don't endure, you will die. Eventually, it might not be right now. It might not be 2 years from now. It might not be next week. It might not be 8 years from now. But eventually you will die, and the Lord is going to make you die the death of the wicked. So Judas Maccabees, he took with him all of the hardy men. Again, the word hardy means the ability to endure harsh conditions. The capability. Are you able to endure harsh conditions, man? Do you thrive? You got to ask yourself these questions. Do you thrive in conditions when it's critical, man? Right? That's like the fourth quarter. It's 3 seconds left on the clock. It's clutch time. And a lot of people, they fold under pressure. When it get hot and things get heated, hey, they fold under pressure, man. They see the shot clock going down, they shaking, and they just standing there. They don't know what to do. Then you have certain other men, guess what? They know what to do. All right? They live in those moments. They get off on those moments, man. They do better in situations when it's critical. And everybody has to get prepared for that critical situation. We don't know when that critical situation is. Sometime in Jacob's trouble. Every man is different. You might experience that before Jacob's trouble. After Jacob's trouble, during Jacob's trouble. The hour of temptation. And if you can't endure it to the end, guess what? The Lord is not going to save you. Let's go to that in Matthew chapter 10. All right? If you can't endure until the end, this is nothing. Right? If you can't endure to the end, you're not being saved. All right? You might as well go back to Christianity, man. You might as well go back to the Christian church. Just go back in the world. Go do what you was doing before you came into the truth. Right? All praise to the Most High, to the brother Ronell McFadden. Robust, capable of enduring difficult conditions. A hardy breed of cattle. Right? All praise to the Most High. That's the definition of the word hardy. You have to ask yourself, are you hardy through the Spirit? But this is Matthew chapter 10 and 22. And ye shall be hated of all men for my name's sake. But he that endureth to the end shall be saved. So the Lord said you will be hated by everybody for his sake. Right now, we're not hated, man. Everybody doesn't hate you. Right? You still cool with your family, your friends. You can walk into the gas station peacefully, grocery store. But it's going to come a time where everybody's going to hate you for the name of the Lord. You have to be prepared. And even by your own brothers, man. Your own people in the truth. You got to be prepared to be hated by everybody. But he that endureth to the end shall be saved. And enduring unto the end is manyfold. That's enduring everything to come. That's enduring the hour of temptation. That's enduring the obstacles that's set before you, man. Right? That's enduring every single thing leading up to the second coming of Yahushua. But guess what? The Lord said, let me get that in Luke chapter 18. Because there's a lot of people enduring right now. But what about when stuff hits the fan? What about when conditions get hard? Hey, we gonna say, hey, now you might say, well, hold on, you weird for saying this, right? What made you say this? But hey, we love uncomfortable conditions, man. We love when things hit the fan, man. Right? I don't like when things is going all sweet. Right? I was talking to a brother one time, right? This was a long time ago, and I called him. I said, man, I don't feel right. Something's not right. Everything's just going too good, right? And I was scared. I'm saying, and he was like, you know what? I'm saying, you just used to going through a lot of things, but hey, maybe the Lord is blessing you, right? And I said, kind. But that feeling of not catching hell, guess what? You could be scared, man. You could be like, hold on, why is everything going too smooth? Usually it'll be some type, usually Satan will pop up around this time. So you want to get into you want to get comfortable with being uncomfortable. Like I said, we love uncomfortable situations, man. We love when we on the bottom because it's building up our character. Let me read this in Luke chapter 18. All right, this is Luke chapter 18 and verse number 7. And shall not God avenge his own elect, which cry day and night unto him, though he bear long with them? I tell you that he will avenge them speedily. Right? Nevertheless, when the Son of Man cometh, shall he find faith on the earth? You see that? Because when the Lord comes back, the same people that's enduring right now, they're not going to be the same people that endures when he comes back. So you can endure right now, but are you able to endure for long periods of time, man? Leading up to the second coming of Yahushua. A lot of people are going to give up the faith, sell out to the so-called white man, give in to the lust of their flesh. And when you read, let's go to 2nd Esdras, chapter 5 and 1. All right, let's go to the book of 2nd Esdras, the 5th chapter. It's the book of 2nd Esdras, chapter 5 and verse number 1. Nevertheless, as concerning the tokens, behold, the day shall come that they which dwell upon the earth shall be taken in a great number, and the way of truth shall be hidden, and the land shall be barren of faith. So we coming into the times where the land is going to be barren of faith. People, they're not going to believe in Yahushua anymore. They're not going to believe in this truth no more. Why? Because they were weak and they let the things around them affect how they operated. Just because something is going on around you, it should not dictate how you function and you function your life. If you let the things around you dictate how you operate, you're weak, man. We just gonna say it. You're weak, right? You're weak. All right, because you letting things which you can't control influence and dictate your life, all because you're changed to a lower state. That's off. You have to remain the same regardless of what goes on around you. You have to remain the same, man. Patient, right? That's Sirach chapter 2 and 4. The Lord said, when thou art changed to a lower state, it's like you be patient with thou art changed to a lower state, right? Set thy heart aright and constantly endure. Make not haste in the time of trouble. All right, let's go to James. Let's go to James, the 5th chapter. All right, let's go to the book of James, the 5th chapter. All right, it's the book of James, chapter 5 and verse number 11. It reads, behold, we count them happy which endure. So if you endure, the Lord counts you happy. Ye have heard of the patience of Job, and have seen the end of the Lord, that the Lord is very pitiful and of tender mercy. Right? I'm going to start at verse 10. It says, take my brethren, the prophets, who have spoken in the name of the Lord, for an example of suffering, affliction, and of patience. And again, that goes back to the definition of the word endure. So another thing to help you to endure, you have to look at the things before you. That's Romans chapter 15 and 4. Right? For whatsoever things were written aforetime were written for our learning, that through patience and faith, right, of the scriptures we may have hope. So you have to take, for example, I mean, what other better example is it than the prophets? Than Yahushua, right? Jeremiah, Isaiah, Ezra, right? Nehemiah, all right? Isaac, Abraham. What better else example, Noah, than the prophets themselves? You have to read. That's why it's important to read, right? We don't just say read just to tell people to read. I don't care about telling nobody to read. We saying read because you're going to build up your understanding. The more you read, you get familiar with the accounts, you're going to be able to use those same examples and apply it into your everyday life. So you have to take, for example, the prophets. Let's go to Ezekiel chapter 24. All right. And we did breakdowns on the life of a prophet. It's not, the life of a prophet isn't a sweet life. All right, you could go on a channel, you could type in a life of a prophet. I believe we did a series on that. Nevertheless, the life of a prophet, it's a beautiful life, right? But guess what? It's not for everybody. It's the book of Ezekiel chapter 24 and verse number 15. Also the word of the Lord came unto me, saying, Son of man, behold, I take away from thee the desire of thy eyes with a stroke. Yet neither shalt thou mourn nor weep, neither shall thy tears run down. Forbear to cry, and make no mourning for the dead, and bind the tire of thy head upon thee, and put on thy shoes upon thy feet, and cover not thy lips, and eat not the bread of men. So I spake unto the people in the morning, and at the even my wife died, and I did in the morning as I was commanded. See that? So the Lord told Ezekiel he was going to kill his wife from a stroke. And when he did that Ezekiel couldn't even cry, man. Right? Hey, what you going to do if the Lord take away your wife? For the brothers that have wives. Even your children. Right? A lot of brothers, you will want to cry. You will want to mourn. But guess what? The Lord told Ezekiel he couldn't cry. He had to deal with it, man. Right? And he had to go out there and prophesy and come back, man, to his woman being dead. Now, a lot of people in the world, they're going to say, well, why would God do something like that? That's harsh, right? Where's the sympathy? Hey, when it comes to endurance, guess what, man? It's no sympathy. It's get it done, man. Right? It's get it done. Go through it. Take it on the chin, man. Embrace it. Glory in it. Right? Get off on it in righteousness. Let's go to Romans chapter 5. Ezekiel, guess what? He dealt with it, and he dealt with it according to the Most High God. And he showed no emotion with it. Right? Let's go to Romans chapter 5. That's a great way to endure, man. All right? This the book of... Hey, certain people, they endure, they catch hell. Certain bodies, they just start praising the Lord, man. They just start screaming out the name of the Most High God. Right? Call Lord Yahweh, Ba'Shem Mashiach Yahushua. They beating upon their chest. They screaming out. That's how it's supposed to be done. You want to get immune to enduring. All right? This the book of Romans, chapter 5 and verse number 3. And not only so, but we glory in tribulations. Also, knowing that tribulation worketh patience. So Paul said we glory in tribulation. So when you do get tribulation, do you glory in it? All right? Or are you upset? Are you automatically pouting or saying, why? Why me? Hey, the first thing you want to do to endurance, guess what? Just say all praises to the Most High, man. Just glory in it. Show the Lord some praise, man. Clap it up, right? You don't just serve the Lord. You don't just serve the Lord when things is going good, right? Where do they do that? Where is that at in the Bible? That's off. You just serve Salakia, right? You just serving the Most High when everything's going smooth for you. Where's that at in the scriptures? You will be a fool, right? Let me hold Romans 5. Hey, what did Job say? You speakest as one of the foolish women speaking, right? shall we receive good at the hand of the Most High and not evil? In Job chapter 2 and verse number 11 on down. Let's go to it. 2 and 9 on down. Right, this is Job chapter 2 and verse number 9. Then said his wife unto him, dost thou still retain thy integrity? Curse God and die. This after Job. I was talking to this about a brother the other day, and when you think about it, when you read the book of Job, it don't tell you, it's no time period how long Job went through this. Realistically, Job could have went through this for decades, multiple years, right? To lose everything, that takes time. That don't just happen in one night. Hey, Job could have been going through this for 10 years, man. Now it's not going to say, well, Job went through this for 10 years. But you got to be realistic, right? Job, his sons increased more than his daughters, all right, in their age. And they have to grow up. And growing up takes years. So guess what? This could have been 15 years that Job went through this. Tobit, he was blind for 8 years, man. In Tobit chapter 14 and 1. But he endured it. Right? But this Job 2 and 9. Then said his wife unto him, dost thou retain thy integrity? Curse God and die. But he said unto her, thou speakest as one of the foolish women speaketh. What? Shall we receive good at the hand of God? And shall we not receive evil? And all this did Job sin with his lips. Because it's a just balance. So you going to get good in this truth. We're going to tell you that right now. You're going to get good in this truth. There's going to be moments where, I'm saying, everything's going smooth and you're prospering and things of that nature. But guess what? Guess what's coming right around the corner? Evil, mourning, woe, sorrow, affliction, right? And it's going to keep getting in rotation. So you got to get used to this endurance right now, right? Again, reason why we going over, I'm saying nothing major, quick precepts on endurance, because a sifting season is approaching, man, right? A lot of more demons, especially we hit the winter time when the darkness prevails against the light on a physical and a spiritual level. We get close to that winter time. Hey, guess what? It's a lot of demons that come out. Everybody's snuggled up. Nobody wants to come outside. Things is dead. All right, the spirit is not alive. Right? A sifting season is approaching, and you don't want to be a partaker in sifting season. All right, because the Lord can sift you out. Right? Sifting season is a period where a lot of people, they fall out of this thing, due to their lust and having a reprobate mind and not being on fire. So this is why endurance is very important. Let's read that again in Romans chapter 5 and 3. And not only also, but we glory in tribulation also, knowing that tribulation worketh patience, and patience experience, and experience hope. So when you endure these different obstacles, again, at the end of the day, it's building you up, right? You might think it's tearing you down. You're getting weaker and weaker, right? You're losing your strength, but you're actually getting stronger, right? My basketball coach, he used to tell me a long time ago, he said, a pain is weakness leaving the body, all right? And that's written of in the scriptures. Let's go to that in 2 Corinthians chapter 12. All right. This is the book of 2 Corinthians chapter 10 and verse number, 2 Corinthians chapter 12. All right, 2 Corinthians chapter 12 and verse number 10. And you have to drill these precepts into your head until it becomes second nature. Until you, not only is you reading the precept, but you doing what the precepts is actually saying. All right. That's the point you want to get to in this truth, where you actually doing what the precept is saying. So if you change to a lower state, guess what? Now you're patient. Now you're glory, instead of complaining about the tribulations, now you glorying in them, right? That's the point you want to get to. But this the book of 2 Corinthians, chapter 9. It's like it, chapter 12 and 10. Therefore, I take pleasure in infirmities and reproaches. I'm going to start at verse 9. And he said unto me, my grace is sufficient for thee. My strength is made in weakness. And those are the words of Yahushua. Most gladly, therefore, I will rather glory in my infirmities, that the power of Christ may rest upon me. Therefore, I take pleasure in infirmities and reproaches and necessities, right? And persecutions and distresses for Christ's sake. For when I am weak, then am I strong. So your strength is made perfect in weakness, man. The only way you're going to get stronger is when you're in situations that you've never been before. And the Lord is going to see how you operate and how you act. Because again, the Lord is you in the Lord's army, man. The Lord don't need weak men in the army. He needs soldiers, man. Men that's going to hold it down for his name. Men that's going to stay faithful, man. Men that's going to be just like him, right? Everybody in there, if you're a general, you're going to want all your men to be like you, right? If not you, but better than you. The Lord don't need weak men in his army. Soft men, right? Women that's going off. Children that don't know what's going on. The Lord needs soldiers, man. Only way you're going to be a soldier of Yahushua is if you doing the exact things that the Lord did on the earth. Let's go to the book of Proverbs, chapter 24. All right. Let's go to the book of Proverbs, chapter 24 and verse number 10. It reads, it's like I'm going to start at verse 9. It's like verse 10. Proverbs 24 and 10. If thou faint in the day of adversity, thy strength is small. Right? And that's playing upon tables, man. So again, the topic of his cold cut is to endure, endure, endure. If you faint in the day of adversity, you just plain out, you just weak. Right? We don't want to say the word because we want to be appropriate and in order. But you know what I'm talking about. You're weak. You're weak blank. Right? Nevertheless, Lord willing, this video was edifying. Continue to read, pray, fast, study. Most importantly, right, beseech the Heavenly Father for his mercy. That I'm going to say shalom.